for 1 minute, to a theater film. Like, what did you consider like your big, like, ooh, wow, like really doing it, your like big break, if you will, or a break that made you feel like, there's a moment sometimes where you go like, yeah, I got this. This is where, I want to keep doing this level and more. Do you remember a moment?
Let me think about that. I mean, obviously, a moment that other people would probably point to is doing Nurse Jackie, which was really fun.
Which is great, yeah.
I think really what happened for me, and I'm just realizing this, I'm talking to you, I had started doing acting after I had done opera and other things, and I was, I hadn't really taken it as seriously because it was like my mom's thing. So I finally went, yes, I'm an actor. And then I went to go write a one-woman show structured around the 12 Labors of Hercules. And I started asking other people to write it, and then they gave it to me, and I went, no, that's not right. And I rewrote it, and I'm like, Lori, you wrote it yourself. Mm-hmm. And I finally realized, okay, this is something I can do. This is something that I want to do. And I went on tour as part of the National New Play Festival doing that. And just the ability to create my own stuff and collaborate with other people to do that gave me such a sense of power and freedom as an artist.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask, since you said that, so when did you sort of start the umbrella Laurie Hamilton Enterprises and all those things that you could do as a one-woman show performer piece? They do segue into how you help people share their story, correct? So talk about, branding and delivering this amazing, you've over the years delivered amazing things for companies, $100 million for Covia, you were VP, all these type of things. How do you blend the creative part with the business part for people and have them bring that authentic, which we're going to talk about when we get to the next, your next part of your enterprises, which is probably the most exciting part, where you help people find out what they don't know about themselves. But anyway.
Well, the first thing is that, and my mother actually taught me this, is that no character in a play thinks they're a bad person. They think they're justified.
Right.
So it taught me to always look at the good reasons why people are doing things. Mm-hmm. And for me, when you're looking at a character, people think a lot of things. Mm-hmm. The lines are what they say instead in a play or a movie. It's the same thing.
Do that in real life.
It's the same thing in real life. Exactly. It's exactly the same thing in real life. So for me, it was a seamless thing in the way that I did it, but it wasn't a seamless thing in the way I presented it. And I had a friend who was doing my web design, and she said, Lori, everybody just knows you for Lori, so let's just make it all one thing. Let's not try to hide, because for a long time I was like, I'm not going to tell my research clients that I do acting, and I'm not going to tell my acting friends that I do research. I kept them really apart. And now they're together, and it's the same thing. It's about really understanding the deep why, what's going on underneath the surface in the messy truth of how we do things, which is more by emotional need and emotional impulse than by rational thinking. The way your brain works is you have a desire to do something, and then you justify it in the way you talk about it. But you think that you thought of the good idea first, when really you didn't. So it's the same thing whether you're analyzing a character in a play or a movie or creating one, or whether you're talking to people in real life. And having that same sense of joy for both of them is how I bring it together for me. And then how I try to do it for my clients is to not bring it about what all the other things that I do, but to focus on what we're doing in the moment.